Hello, sir. How are you? Are you well?
I'm all right, mate. How are you? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. Had my run-in with a potential scam of the internet, which I will not get into.
No, that's fine. That's when they knocked on the door and then they said, "Hey, this is my house." And you were like, "No, it's not." And then they were like, "Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
How did I know where it was?" And
Look,
you were like,
I've got the key right
yeah.
here. I'm like, well, if you had the key, then why didn't you just come into the house? Like,
and then you open your eyes and you realize they're in the house and you're out the house now.
yeah, yeah. Wait, how did you do that?
Because it's my house now. Get out of here.
And you look at your hand and
Slam
your key's no longer there. It's just a banana. It's like, how the hell did he do that?
You look through the window and your family are just like happily getting on with this new person.
It's like that movie. What's
Sunshine?
Sunshine? Yeah,
yeah, where the sun shines in and they're all like, "Ah, my face," and that would be you. Except you'd be like, "Ah, my house and my family."
There must be a movie where somebody. Oh yeah, like any body swap movie, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. Because your body is the house for your brain.
Yeah. House for your brain. Now that is a movie.
A house for your brain. Summer 2026.
To your theaters near you.
Yeah.
So my name is Leslie. I am one half of the Chatting Pitch podcast. Welcome back. Would you care to introduce yourself, sir?
Sure. My name is Matthew D. Smith, and I have pins and needles. Thank you for coming back to Chatting Pitch. If
you remember that kid who did that pins and needles dubstep rap on the YouTubes?
Absolutely not. I've never heard of this.
It's just some kid. I no idea who he was, but it went viral at some point. And it was just a kid just going like pins and needles. He was just doing these
pins and needles, pins and needles.
I think it was an original.
Butterfly, sugar, baby.
Needles.
Pins and needles, pins and needles. I can feel my hand or my foot now. Pins and needles, pins and needles.
Remember that Linkin Park song?
My body is a house for my brain now. Pins and needles.
I used to do this with like another song where it's like, I've become so numb, I can't feel my legs. Yeah.
I've sat so weird, I can't feel my hand. I was so tired and I fell asleep.
I just woke up and now I have to eat. Something like that. Welcome to Chatting Pitch, everybody, where we sing silly songs and we're supposed to be talking about movies, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
But we like to do a cold open these days, don't we? Where we just talk. Our definition of a cold open is we just talk about anything that's not what we should be talking about.
Yeah. So, did you get any snow recently?
I got a bit of snow recently, and then it disappeared because I'm from the south of England. The south of because you're in the north of England at the moment. The south of England is we get it so much better. We have underfloor heating just everywhere.
Amazing.
On the land, like on the street, on the pavement. You go to the park, there's underground heating.
I used to have underground heating in my old flat.
And back when you lived in the south.
Yeah, I definitely was living in the south, but now, no more. You'd think that you'd have underground heating in the north, because it gets colder up there.
Yeah. It's nothing.
Nothing. It's too cold up here. And we're like, you know what? It's too cold.
It's too cold to install this underground heating. The mole men won't appreciate it.
The mole man?
Yeah, because they're the ones underneath the ground. Stoking the fire, trying to keep it hot.
Stoke-on-Trent?
Yeah, Stoke-on-Trent, yeah.
Stoke-on-Trent is where all the mole men come from.
That's where the company come from.
Yeah.
The mole people.
The mole people.
Yeah.
Speaking of mole people.
Mainly Trent. Go on.
Speaking of mole people, speaking of Stoke-on-Trent, here's the jingle. It's getting worse every day.
Very good, sir.
Hey, so we both watched a movie, and the movie just came out. What's the
Sorry, I'm
movie,
just trying
sir?
to get over your bovine pronunciation. A movie. If you listen to the episodes from the beginning, Leslie starts off saying movie normally. And every single time he just adds on a little extra ooh. And if you listen to the episodes as they go through, you don't notice. But, man, if you just joined us today, a movie that we watched.
Adjective. Relating to or affecting cattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a cattle.
You've just called me a big old cow.
I just called you a cow.
Yeah. Moo moo.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Not much. So here's the movie review.
I don't know. A guy just stole my house. So I've got bigger problems. He just stole my house and my family.
Well, that was part of the cold open, so we shan't reference that.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Otherwise, this episode won't be evergreen.
No.
A Real Pain. We watched that movie. Have you ever had any real pains in your life, Matthew? Like your finger? The thing that you told me about your finger thing.
Yeah, I have pins and needles in my finger. I said this to you before. I want this to be where a doctor happens to be listening, and then they figure out what it is, because I don't really know. I had really painful pins and needles in my finger, and if any of my family are listening to this, they're going to be so bored of this because I've been banging on about this for a week. I've got really bad pins and needles in my finger, and then for the rest of the day, after I got up, pins and needles in my hand, and they just wouldn't go away. And ever since then, for about a week, the tip of my finger has just been really numb. It's really weird.
No.
Like on and off numb.
It's not frostbite, is it?
Nah, it's not frostbite because my finger has not changed colour. It's a healthy pink, pinkish hue.
Healthy spam colour.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I can help you out. I'll do a call out to the doctors. Okay, here we go. All right.
Is there a doctor in the house? I said, is there a doctor in the house? Hello, my name is Dr. Pinthumb.
Do you remember Cypress Hill?
It worked. My fingers... my fingers healed.
In my head, that was a much better joke, but... been sitting on that for a good old 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry, sir.
That's fine.
I could see the aspiration in your eyes.
Hey, I think it's great because I watched Cypress Hill live once at Reading Festival 2011, probably.
Okay.
Not sure. And they came up on stage and they said, "Is there a doctor in the house?" And they proceeded to light up a spliff and start singing Dr. Green Thumb.
Okay.
And I was like, what an entrance.
Yeah.
So that was lifted straight from Cypress Hill from 2011 Reading Festival. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Jesse Eisenberg, his new movie that's sweeping the nation, probably. Not sure.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not. And who's the other dude? Keiran Culkin. One, maybe third of the Culkin family brothers. I think there's three of them. Macaulay Culkin and the other one.
We've done this joke before where the hidden brother is like Big Barry Culkin.
Have we done this joke before?
Sort of. I think we've done this joke before. It's a staple joke. It's a trope joke.
Yeah.
But, it's a good one to bring out every now and again. We talk about the hidden. No, we talked about the hidden Hemsworth brother.
That's it. So there were parallels there.
Big Billy Hemsworth. Yeah.
If you're a regular listener, you will know that we have reoccurring bits every now and then whenever we feel like it. Like
Big Billy
the
Hemsworth.
troll who doesn't like anything.
And I'll tell you another thing that's wrong with your movie.
And it's usually
Culkin brothers.
it's usually that there are too many women in prominent roles.
Yeah.
Or too many non-white people.
Just so you know, this troll is a bad person. We don't condone. We don't condone.
We'll do a message at the start. We don't condone. We only condone actions of more men and more people,
and not trolls.
Not trolls.
Well, but Matthew, what is this movie about?
What is it about?
You're steering the ship back.
Yes. If I were to describe it, I would say it's about two cousins who used to get on really well as kids. One of the characters describes themselves as joined at the hip. But as they've gotten older, they've sort of grown apart. One, played by Jesse Eisenberg, has become like a sort of 9-to-5 he sells ad space on the internet, and he's got a wife and a kid and a nice house, and he does all that. Whereas Benji, played by Keiran Culkin, is more of a fly by the seat of his pants sort of guy. He hasn't really got a direction in life, hasn't really got a plan. But he's very charismatic, and even when he does horrible stuff, people like him. Not that he is a horrible person, but like
no, not by any means. He's very charming to talk to, and very personable, and outlandish, spontaneous, aloof.
I'd say in a non-spoilery way, there's a scene in A Real Pain where he says some stuff that's quite harsh to a person.
Yes.
But then later on, that person goes, actually, I want to thank you for saying that because it's made me think about myself.
Right, yes.
So he's not someone who...
spoilers.
Yeah, he's not someone who comes into a room and goes, I don't care what anyone thinks, so I'm going to use that as an excuse to just be a real not nice person.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care what people think, but I do care about people.
Yeah. He's not a not nice person, but he is definitely. I don't think this is a spoiler alert at all, or a spoiler, but he definitely has a particular background that has shaped him to be a certain way, and that's saying as little as possible without giving it away.
Yeah, but to sum up the story again, that it is partly because they are also reuniting to go on a tour of a prison camp in Poland, and this was also part of one of their grandmother's last requests. And the character of Benji was quite close to his grandmother, so it's a movie that's really about dealing with death, but in its different forms. That's how I read it anyway.
Yeah, everyone has their own ways of dealing with death and grief, and they both decided to do it together. And there's another reason why they're on the trip, but I'm not going to get into that because that is spoiler territory. But essentially, on screen, what I got from it was, obviously the sentiment of how other people deal with grief, but also showcasing what it's like when an introverted person and an extrovert person are put in the same room and how they clash. And I thought that dynamic was very interesting because I've definitely been in those situations before. And I wouldn't class myself as one or the other. Like, I would say that I've been described as an ambivert, which is a little bit of both. Okay. There are times when I want to go out and go out to a party, get absolutely munted on J2Os. But
Apple and mango, baby.
If anyone doesn't know, J2Os are soft drink. I personally don't drink. And the other side of me sometimes would like to cozy in and just watch a movie on the telly or play a video game.
It's interesting that you say that, because I watched an interesting video. It was a TED Talk, actually, where the guy was talking about how introverts and extroverts, you can also define them not necessarily by being, I want to go out to a party, or I want to stay in and just do a puzzle. But it's also down to do with the sort of language that you use and how you express yourself, which I think they get right in A Real Pain as well, because you've got David, Jesse Eisenberg's character, who is constantly like talking in circles because he's trying not to insult people, and he's very introverted in his use of language, and he's trying to not say the wrong thing.
Whereas
because
Benji,
he genuinely doesn't want to hurt people's feelings. Whereas Benji is the total extrovert, where he explains himself.
Like, he wears his heart on his sleeve. And he's just like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's reserved versus unreserved. Which is also something that happens on the train scene. You know, they have reserved seats, and then
very good. We tie it back. Yeah, to my favorite subject, trains.
What did you think of the movie anyway?
Great trains. No,
Great
I thought
trains are made to be ridden on.
Yes, trains are like a home for your body, which is a home for your brain.
This episode is not sponsored by trains
or brains.
or brains.
Yeah,
What was
or
the thing that we said
cranes.
earlier? Something about brains in the house.
Yeah.
House?
The house.
The house.
The
house
brain
of
is the house for your thoughts, and the body is the home for your brain, and the
That's
train
right.
is the home for your body.
Yeah, and then the play. What the rain in Spain
Is the
falls
home
mainly
for the train.
on the train.
Is mainly on the train because they don't have ceilings.
You know what they say when you go on the toilet? Do not strain. So
My
what did you
brain
think of
hurts.
that?
What did I think of the movie?
What did you think of the movie? I really liked it.
I thought it was great. Yeah, I was typing up the old written review of it this morning, and it just occurred to me how great and understated it was.
Mm-hmm.
At no point does it explain itself, but you still get it, which I think is great. And I think Eisenberg directed this as well, and he wrote it as well, I believe.
He did.
He uses visual language quite well, where another director or a writer might be a bit unsure, maybe not as confident, and they might have a character just like essentially explaining the theme or the motif. He just lets it happen.
Yeah. There was a great scene. One of my favorite scenes, actually. And I don't think this is a spoiler at all. But there's a scene where they all take a picture in front of a monument. And Benji decides that it's a great place to do a little bit of role playing. Yeah. But Jesse Eisenberg thinks it's disrespectful because the monument is of what was it again? It was
they're soldiers in action, and it's to commemorate a terrible battle for Polish soldiers. And,
right.
And Benji thinks, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to pretend to be a soldier. And he's like, hey, does it look good? Like, does it? Yeah. And he's like trying to get all the other characters.
Essentially, all the other characters are part of the tour. So the reason why there's so many other people is because Jesse Eisenberg and Keiran Culkin's character are both part of a trip around Poland. So there are other people who are part of the same trip, but Jesse Eisenberg is the only one who doesn't want to take a picture, and he ends up being the cameraman because he just doesn't want to take part in the silly shenanigans that Benji has to offer. But everyone else was like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Oh, man, I found that bit really funny. Like, even the guy who was like, I'm a pacifist, I don't want to pretend to hold a gun.
Yeah.
And at first you think, like, oh, he's going to be a bit of a stick in the mud. And then straight away he's like, I'm going to be a medic. And he's like wrapping his scarf around the leg. And he's like asking him, like, are you okay? Do you feel okay? And
yeah. It was great. Like, it almost felt like that whole scene was a little bit improvised, but
maybe, I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah. But no, it really solidifies their characters and shows you.
Yeah, a part of that sequence is in the trailer, but it really does, like you say, it explains who they are.
Yeah. If you haven't listened to this podcast before, there is a rating system, and our rating system goes from C to chatting pitch. So the lowest rating is the spelling of our podcast name, C being the first letter, and then chatting pitch is the full.
Oh, it's a masterpiece. It changed my life. And then C is like, this was awful, and it changed my life for the worse.
Yes. I think I would give it a decent chatting pit, I reckon. I think chatting pit for me.
That's a very high rating.
That's high rating, yeah.
That's better than decent.
I wouldn't say it's a full chatting pitch. I wasn't blown away by it. I wouldn't even say it's a chatting pit C, because I found myself enjoying it a lot. I really liked the characters. I think the only places that I could that I would give it I don't want to say like a low rating. What would you say? Like taking points off. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Negatives
is probably. I guess maybe I wasn't fully invested emotionally with every aspect of the movie. Like I got the dynamic of like introverted versus extroverted, but then I think some of the I guess maybe I haven't grieved enough in my life that I couldn't like relate to it as much.
Okay.
So that's where some of the points were lost on me. What about yourself, sir?
I would probably give it. See, I feel like A Chatting Pit was a very high rating. I would
You think that's too high?
No, I don't think that's too high at all. But yeah, I would maybe give it a Chatting Pit C personally.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I just felt like it really
sometimes it does really hit hard. There are moments where it's kind of like, oof, this is and I felt like that was a very sudden change of tone for me, because I was like, oh, it's funny, but like a road trip comedy, and then suddenly it's like, whoa.
But it's not jarring?
It's not jarring, but it also did make me feel like, huh, okay. And that was just my opinion, really.
Okay.
But sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, it's fine. I just think it was a really great examination of how people deal with death in different forms, because there's the fact that they are going is because their grandmother died. So Benji's character in particular, you can see all these little like twitches and like these moments where Benji gets frustrated. He's always getting frustrated at something that's not the pain.
Yeah.
He gets frustrated at someone playing a certain type of song on the piano.
Yeah.
But he's not really angry at that. He's frustrated because his grandma's died.
Yeah.
But he never confronts it. And it's interesting the way that he deals. But then you've also got the dealing with, well, they're going to prison camps where however many, I'm guessing thousands of people were like mercilessly executed. But it's also that dealing with death where it's, okay, well, my family were here, sure, but my grandma escaped. The people that I'm imagining dying, I don't know who they were.
Yeah.
Yet I'm trying to access that pain. I'm trying to confront that evil, sure, but I'm also trying to confront how the people felt, because it never becomes a film about it never focuses on the people who took part in the atrocities.
Right.
This isn't a movie where, even though they're visiting prison camps from World War II, you're not going to hear the word Nazi every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This isn't like, oh, and that naughty Adolf Hitler, what he got up to. It's totally about the people that were in the prison camp, and it's about going back to where you came from. I thought that there was this use of a circle motif throughout pretty much the whole film about sort of coming back to where you were before, and that's what their journey is. They're going to Poland to see where their family came from. There's a bit early on in the movie where they both talk about, hey, if it wasn't for, World War II, we might have been Polish. We might have lived here. We might have had this life or this life, and yet we're Americans because our family had to escape.
I'm just going to go ahead and say like spoilers here now, because we've done our rating, so we might as well just like talk about it now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a little bit of a spoiler, but essentially the film ends where it begins.
Yeah.
And that issue of you try and deal with death, and confronting it sometimes it helps you, sure, but you never fully finish with it. Yeah, you have Benji, his first introduction is at the airport, and he talks about that he's been there for hours, and like, hey, you meet the
craziest people.
You meet the craziest people. And then at the end of the film, it
does the same thing, essentially.
Yeah, the film almost, I don't want to say tricks in a bad way, but it sets up this thing of, oh, okay, David and Benji have had this ongoing butting of heads where Benji's like, you used to spend time with me. You used to be like this guy who was really open, and now you're not really emotional. You're not letting yourself be free. And also, I don't, hey, I'll see you in 6 months. That sort of thing. I'll see you at Christmas, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it sets up that David says, well, hey, do you want to, instead of going straight back home, do you want to come and visit, my family, and you can see where I live? And Benji just, I'm going to stay at the airport for a bit.
Yeah. And it's like a full circle moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's that final shot of him sitting on the seat, and it's sort of like he's tried to confront the pain of his grandma dying, and he's tried to confront the pain of all those people in the prison camp, whether they died or not. But he's not dealt with it.
Yeah, but he's not confronting the pain within. The real pain.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Because no
the
one
title has a big double entendre there. Like, there's the pain within, and then there's also Jesse Eisenberg's, his interpretation of what a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Keiran Culkin is, and which is painfully obvious, obviously, but to the average Joe, they probably don't know that, because they haven't watched the movie.
Well, it's like that breakdown scene, isn't it, that David has partway through at that restaurant.
Yeah. What was it? He was listening to a song that was being played by somebody else, and then he left the table, and then he started playing the piano himself.
Yeah, Benji storms off, and then David has this big breakdown about
he has the breakdown.
Why Benji is a real pain, and then Benji comes back, and
it is revealed that he had a troubled past, and he had, to put it lightly, there was a little bit of potential self-harm there, and that is one of the reasons why they're on the trip. So Jesse Eisenberg, what was his name?
David,
yeah. David really wanted to pick him up, because he had fallen down after the death of his grandma. So, yeah, there's a few moments like that where Keiran Culkin's character, Benji, kind of has trouble with dealing with grief, like switching from first class to standard class. It was like, why are we all here? Like,
all our ancestors would have been shoved onto a horrible, dilapidated train, and
here we are, just like eating sandwiches on this first class cushy plane. But
it's also one of those movies that lets you, as a viewer, make up your own mind. Because I think if you went the melodrama route, you'd either be totally for Benji or totally for the people that he's arguing with. But this film lets you watch it and go, well, okay, actually there's shades of grey here, and I understand what Benji's saying, even if I don't agree with him.
It's like Alex Garland's Civil War, where there actually is supposed to be completely unbiased, even though there probably is a bias.
I would say this is a bit better, though.
A little bit more nuanced than that, yeah. Anyway, I think that's all we have to say about the movie.
Yeah, I guess we go on to the pitch now. Let's pitch our dead grandma Holocaust movie. In space! with a wacky psychic. He's a robot. He's been programmed to dance every 5 minutes. Hey!
Here's the jingle. We're not going to be doing a pitch about the dead Holocaust grandma movie. We're probably going to be talking about something else we discussed prior to recording. And one thing I pitched to Matthew here is, hey, why don't we talk about our most anticipated movies of 2025? Now, let me get the old Google Chrome up. This is not a sponsor. And see what's coming out. So, most anticipated movies of 2025. What we've got? What have we got? Mickey 17.
Oh man, I cannot wait for that movie. It's been delayed twice. Have you seen the trailer for it?
I have seen the trailer. It looks great.
It's wild. It looks fantastic.
Robert Pattinson's funny little voice that he does. I'm just Mickey 17, yo.
Yeah.
It looks great. I think he's loads of people say this about him, that he's a really interesting actor, but he really is. He was the butt of many jokes when he was in the Twilight movies.
I mean, he climbed out of that hole very quickly, didn't he? And he just
he did, by just outright slamming the character that he played in interviews and talking about how Yeah.
Also, he probably has a great publicist who was able to put him in a bunch of great movies.
Yeah.
But the trailer, man, I think the soundtrack alone really sets the tone of the movie. The big band swing.
Yeah.
I've died 17 times.
What's the movie about? It's like clones, is it? It's this. He dies at least 17 times.
I can't remember the exact setup. It was so long
Sci-fi.
ago.
It's a sci-fi movie.
Space movie. It's a spacey pew 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 movie. He's
directed by the incredible. Forget how you pronounce his name. Park Chan-wook, is it?
Okay.
Is that his name?
What was he directed before?
Parasite,
which I loved.
Sorry, I got the completely wrong Korean director. Park Chan-wook is like the guy who did Lady Vengeance. I'm talking about Bong Joon-ho.
I thought it was.
Yeah. It's Bong Joon-ho. Sorry, those are two very popular Korean directors. So my mistake.
I missed my opportunity to correct you.
If only I knew all my Korean director names. What character is this?
I don't know. Some guy we do not want.
Okay.
Oh, they're making a new Greenland movie. Did you see the first Greenland movie with guy? I was about to say Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, no. Gerald Butler. Because Guy Ritchie directed a movie called Rock and Roller that had Gerald Butler.
Yeah.
That's where you're getting confused. That's where you're getting confused, mate.
Everything was slightly like brownie grey. It was,
Okay. What's this one? Greenland. So it's like asteroids fell. So part 2, more asteroids.
I think it's called Migration. So I think the asteroids are like, it's cold down here.
Mate, I've already seen that movie.
Migrate.
I've already seen that one.
Go on.
It came out like last year, right? It was about the ducks, and they were like, "I'm gonna fly over to the
but now
to the city."
A bit like, you know how they took the guns out of ET and gave them like walkie-talkies. Well, they're gonna take the ducks and they're gonna turn them into asteroids.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep the sound effects out, which are gonna be weird. Yeah,
you can do it that way.
Yeah.
So it's Gerard Butler and his family being like, "Oh my god, we're all gonna die," and there's ducks flying everywhere.
Deep Impact. So Morgan Freeman is talking about today we face the greatest crisis of mankind. A giant duck.
You know what I've just realized? We've inadvertently turned this portion of the episode into pitching.
So we know every movie is fine.
Yeah. Every movie that we talk about.
Now I'm just doing Danny DeVito.
Hey, there we go. What else have we got? Most anticipated movies are 20.
I'm just laughing because I saw Blade on the list. It's not going to happen.
No, not for another 5 years.
Oh, Flight Risk.
What's that?
Have you seen the trailer for Flight Risk?
Oh, is that Mark Wahlberg? But he's doing. Is he doing Con Air or something? What is this? When you see the poster and when you sort of hear a general thing, you think, "Oh, it's Mark Wahlberg, but he's going to save the day or something." Right?
But it's not. It's really not. It's okay. The trailer is he is a pilot of a small plane. The person sat next to him in the cockpit is an FBI agent, I think.
I think I've seen this, yeah. And his hair falls off, right?
Yes, his toupee falls off. And it turns... it's like Patrick Stewart in Extras.
Yeah.
All of his clothes fall off instantly.
And he rides on the grass.
And there's a sign that says, "No airplanes on the grass." Everybody doesn't pay attention to that, do they?
Anyone who hasn't seen it, watch Patrick Stewart on Extras. It's very funny.
He is great.
Yeah. Anyway, the setup of Flight Risk.
The setup for it, I would say, lately, I'm not the biggest Mark Wahlberg fan because the films that he has come up with are pretty... they're generic.
What the kids say mid.
Do they say that? I'm 35, so...
Okay. So am I.
Yeah.
Apples and oranges, really.
Yeah. Let's just say generic and go. Let's leave it because we're talking about 2025 movies. But this one looks kind of interesting because he's the pilot of a plane, FBI agent next to him, and there's someone handcuffed behind them, and it's the whole deal is Mark Wahlberg is the pilot that is taking this person to be a witness in a mob trial. But then it turns out But bada boom, Mark Wahlberg is a mob hitman in disguise. And he's actually there to kill the witness to stop him from revealing too much.
So what movie does this remind you of?
Well, go on. Have you got one in mind?
Or is this like an original? Because I'm trying to think. It sounds like it's been done before. Or it feels like a very 90s action movie.
It probably has. It is that sort of, okay, we need a very self-contained space that can also lend tension. Okay, a plane's pretty good for that, because then you've got to keep the plane in the air. You don't want to damage the plane, but also they can't go anywhere. They're trapped in there essentially until he lands on the grass.
Yeah, and then he just rides away.
And then all his clothes fall off.
They all just melt off.
Oh,
because of isn't that one of the things that Patrick Stewart says? Is like because of the radiation or something. The clothes just fall off.
Maybe. Well, if no one's seen it in extras, Patrick Stewart's character is just a massive pervert.
Yeah.
So what else we got?
I love the bit where he just goes and then he rides on the grass. It's like a beat.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect comedic timing. Let's see what else is there.
I score the winning goal and I go back into the changing rooms and
there's a couple on this list here. There's a movie called Love Hurts that's coming out, which stars Ki Hee Kwan, the husband from Everything Everywhere All at Once, also Data from The Goonies, or Short Round from Indiana Jones. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah. I have. Yeah, I've seen the. Now you've said the people. Yeah.
That one looks interesting because it's just like it's very. Let's just say it's very Jackie Chan-esque, where it's like ordinary guy. I don't want any trouble, and then he gets into like a sticky situation.
Into trouble. Instantly.
Yeah, he gets into trouble, and then he somehow knows how to fight, and he's really good at it. Yeah. And it looks fun, you know. That's another movie that's coming out. And when we're saying most anticipated movies of 2025, are we saying most anticipated globally or most anticipated from us?
Well, I don't think we can talk. We could probably talk for everyone on planet Earth.
Yeah, that's right.
If aliens came down, and you know, humanity was like, let's vote for who's going to represent us. It'd probably be us, right?
It'd be us, yeah.
We'll get the chatting pitch guys to go up there.
With that in mind, I guess we could make our own rules up then, because I'm going to say a movie that I'm not anticipating.
Okay.
And that's Captain America, Brave New World.
Oh, yeah. But I think that's, again, we've touched on this. We're a different generation.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in the Marvel stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Endgame
I think
literally had the word end in.
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness was fine. There was some good stuff in there. There was some goofy stuff in there that I liked, but
there's definitely been a plateau after Endgame.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've reached the level of excitement since then. And needless to say, I'm not very excited for the new Captain America movie. Not because Chris Evans isn't in it. Not because it's a new Marvel property. It's because it looks really boring. Like, to me, anyway.
Okay.
It feels like it's a tried and done formula. They're trying to replicate the success of the Captain America solo movies.
They're trying to do the Winter Soldier thing where it's like, oh, this is a movie about intrigue and...
But really, what everyone's talking about, like they're thinking, okay, there's a new Captain America here. He's got wings. He's got like things that shoot out of his wings. But then everyone's really talking about Harrison Ford did his own mocap and he's big and red. And he's going to be like, rah, I'm big and red.
I'm Clifford, the big red dog.
Did you ever watch that movie?
No.
That was I think
generational thing.
Generation. What else have we got?
Well, I'm going to stick with movies that I'm interested in, and we've got.
Thought I'd mix it up, you know.
Some people are saying that the next Spider-Verse movie might be coming out this year. It was supposed to be, I think it was originally scheduled 2024, and then there was going to happen. A lot of reporting about animators leaving and the whole production sort of crashing and burning.
I'd be very surprised if it came out this year because 2 years ago they didn't even have a script.
Okay.
And you know how long it takes for animation, especially that kind of animation. It took them 5 years to do the next movie after the first one. So why not just take your time? Why rush it? Otherwise you're going to have a half-baked
No, I think they should
movie.
rush it. I think they should have just napkin drawings.
Yeah.
And it's just Lord and Miller just like hastily putting the napkin drawings under a camera.
Yeah.
And then this happens. Crash.
Are you a fan of Lord and Miller? Do you like their stuff?
I haven't seen all of their stuff. They've made some good stuff though.
I liked Cloudy or the Chance of Meatballs. I thought that was a good movie. Did you ever watch that one?
Yeah.
I thought it was quite funny. I actually can't tell the difference between 1 and 2. I think I watched them both at the same time. Did you even know there was another 2? Yeah.
No, I knew there was a second.
Yeah.
That was one that was okay. Were they involved with Last Man on Earth as well? I think.
Yes, they
which
were.
I very much liked.
They were involved in a lot of stuff. Like, especially there's a particular brand of comedy that they do. It's not quite the Judd Apatow style of humor, but there's like a more nuanced way of doing. Like they're quite good at their writing with dialogue, especially in my opinion, anyway. And I've recently dipped my toes into a Phil. Was it Phil Lord and Chris Miller? Yeah. They did a TV show called The After Party, which is a murder mystery show. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting the way that they've done it because they're essentially doing like a Rashomon style movie where every character has their own take on what's happening, but every time they talk about their vantage point, it's a different genre of a movie. So like one's like a neo-noir movie. Yeah. Another one's like a high school comedy. Another one's a horror movie. Another one's an action movie.
Sure.
And it's interesting. It's quite funny. And then like that kind of plays into their types of personalities.
Right.
Yeah, it's worth watching, I think. And one of them's a musical,
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, let's
What was that one called again?
It's called The After Party.
The After Party, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What else we got? Shall I just skip through the ones that we don't anticipate?
Fast X Part 2.
Minecraft movie.
The Complete Unknown.
There's a movie called Sinners, which has got Michael B. Jordan in. And a lot of people are comparing the trailer to From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, it has got a bit of From Dusk Till Dawn, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer?
I have.
Yeah.
It looks pretty decent.
I think it's vampires. I reckon it's going to be vampires. What else we got? Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Ah, yes. The final train.
They couldn't stick to the thing that they planned before, where it was supposed to be part 2. They had to change the title.
Yeah,
so
that's
now
before.
It goes Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3, and then the other ones, and then. And then Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is on all the DVDs and all the posters and everything, and then The Final Reckoning.
Yeah.
It bugs me that they can't just stick to a formula. Like, why can't Hollywood just say, look, this one's going to be called Part 2. They've done it again with Wicked, by the way, where they said Wicked Part 1. Mm-hmm. And then this one's called Wicked for Good. Which is part 2.
I thought you were going to stop with Wicked for Goo. For the goo! I mean, I didn't catch the second half of part 1 because the cinema flooded, so I assume the goo is introduced at the end of part 1. Is that right?
Yeah, it's those little pots of chocolate that you get from Sainsbury's and Tesco's, the goo pots. For the goo!
For the goo! I'm going to use that little sideways comparison to pitch my recent blog piece where I compare all the Alien movies to goo desserts. Do go and check it out because I've written it and it has been called, and I quote, a madness that I can appreciate. So that was a nice
the link
comment.
will be down below in the description. If you want to
just find it yourself on your rotary phone.
You lazy people.
Operator.
Get me
Get me
The
midnight
goo.
reviews. Get me the goo for the goo.
What else we
Wicked
got?
for the goo.
for the
We've got the new
goo.
Superman, which okay.
You know what? I'm
Jurassic
interested
World
to
Rebirth,
see what happens with that new Superman. You know, I am interested to see what direction it goes into, because I did like the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie. I thought it was like way better than the.
I did
other one.
not.
You didn't like it?
I really didn't get on with it.
Oh, why is that?
I enjoyed that they set up all these people being in the movie, and then in the opening 5 minutes killed them off. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But then after that, I just thought I don't care about anything that's happening.
Oh, that's a shame, because I enjoyed it.
It was all very in the same way that a lot of comic book movies have gone. Not all, but a lot of comic book movies have gone, where everything is like a sly wink to the audience, and nothing is really taken sincerely for more than 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just didn't get on with it. But hey, that's
fair
me.
enough. That's your opinion. That's just like your opinion, man. So what else do we have?
That was from the comic book movie Opinion Man, right?
Yes.
Just before he hits a criminal. That's just your opinion, man. And I am also called Opinion Man. Whack.
Yeah. I'm like, me and you together, we're the Opinion Men.
That's the sequel. The Opinion Men will return.
Yeah. And the E in men is with a $sign. So in October 2025, we're gonna get the long-awaited Michael Jackson biopic movie.
Another music biopic. I can't wait.
Yeah.
They should have done the thing where, you know, where studios like panic and they go, oh my God, this thing is really popular. Even though this film is 90% done, we need to shoehorn in. So you know how, what was it? Monkey Man? Better Man, yeah. Has gotten on quite well in the UK, at least. Maybe not so much elsewhere.
People in the US are like, I thought
this was Robin Williams.
Yeah, I thought he
really
was
hairy.
a Jumanji. Yeah.
Where's all the stuff about Jumanji? I want to see him when he was in Jumanji.
There were monkeys in Jumanji.
Why wasn't he in Jumanji?
Is that how it's pronounced? I think Americans pronounce it Jumanji, don't they?
Jumanji for the goo. So they should have just gotten this Michael Jackson biopic and just turned him into a flamingo or something, or a rhino. Rhino.
Well, there's still time.
There's still time. You can do it, Hollywood executives. Please force this bad idea through.
If they were able to release a trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog and had him look horrendous, and then within a year turn it around and made it better, there's no reason why they can't replace Michael Jackson as a flamingo.
Yeah.
Or any other
rhino.
animal.
Yeah.
Or a rhino. Or a penguin. A frog. That would be fun. Like a big anthropomorphic frog.
Yeah.
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 I can imagine a frog moonwalking on the stage.
Yeah. But everyone else is human.
Yeah.
And the movie's awful.
Every time he gets like really frustrated, he just goes ribbit.
He goes on a frog rampage.
Yeah.
Waving his arms around.
Like he just don't care.
There could be a scene where Michael Jackson is being interviewed by Kermit on the Muppets.
Yeah.
The scene that really threw me was when Michael Jackson, played by a frog, was interviewed by a fake frog, played by a man. 28 years later.
Yeah. I haven't
interesting.
seen 28 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
I've only seen 28 days later.
Yeah.
Pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't know why they didn't do 28 months later.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But hey.
What about the prequel, 28 seconds later?
Or 28 seconds before. That would be the prequel.
Yeah. 28 days before.
28 days before. And everything's just fine.
Yeah. 28 months before. Even better.
Even better, but everyone's de-aged. Well, what's the next one? If it's 28 years later, what's the next one? 28 decades later, I guess. So 280 years later. Humanity has turned itself into
centuries
robots.
later. 28 light years later.
Oh my days.
Yeah.
Where are they? Mars.
It would just be particles floating for like 2 hours.
We have transformed ourselves into pure energy.
What about Edgar Wright's The Running Man that's going to be coming out?
Edgar Wright's.
Edgar
He's doing
Wright.
The Running Man.
He's remaking The Running Man.
Oh.
Or adapting. You know, it was a Stephen King novel.
Okay.
But-
I mean, I'll gladly check it out. I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, I like the original Running Man movie, so I'm not going to like this.
I mean, there's been plenty of originals. I mean, there's the Arnie one, and then there was another one before that, and maybe others.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the thing. I remember someone of an older generation asking me, have you seen The Thing? And I went, oh, yeah, it's great, Kurt Russell and all this other stuff. And he went, no, like the one from the 1950s or whatever it was. Yeah. So, you know, these things get redone and done and done. Yeah. I just,
Yeah, can't wait for RoboCop 7 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just going to call it RoboCop, aren't they?
Yes, they
apparently, Avatar...
It will be called RoboCop 0, but the O in cop will be the 0.
Yeah, will be a $.
Yeah. And then the sequel will be RoboCoop, because there'll be another O. And it will be like him as a farmer.
And then he does like
I need to collect the eggs.
They do, you know, they do that thing where like they get brands to do like a tie-in deal.
Sure.
It's co-op, right?
Robo co-op, little hyphen. Yeah. That'll be the advert.
Yeah. He goes into a co-op.
Whoever plays like, RoboCop.
Can I play by contactless? Yeah.
And then
RoboCop.
Everyone. And then the last 3 seconds of the ad is RoboCoop in cinemas now. And I suppose it could have the.
He's going out of the room. It's like, don't forget to collect your co-op points, RoboCop. I never forget my points, or there will be trouble.
Oh no! If we really wanted to do it accurately, it would be the human being would deliver that line. Don't forget your points, RoboCop, or there might be trouble, but they won't deliver it in the way that it is in the movie.
Yeah, and then RoboCop just like does like a little like his eyebrow raises or something, and then
we couldn't do an eyebrow raise.
He gets his gun out. His thigh gun.
He's about to shoot the owner of Co-op, and then RoboCop is. But I suppose for RoboCoop, you could have the opening.
No! Sorry, yeah.
No! It's just RoboCop. He's like fully metal, but he's got the hat, the farmer's hat.
Yeah.
You know the opening of RoboCop, or not? I don't know if it's I can't remember if it's the opening, but when he becomes RoboCop, it does the point of view thing where it's like, and he sees the people looking at him, and it's like all the words come up on the screen because it's from the robot's point of view. You could do the same, but from the chicken's point of view.
From the chicken's, because
it's RoboCoop.
From the. Very good.
So there could be like a robot chicken.
Yeah.
Like, programming priorities.
There's so many possibilities.
Protocols? Lay
and
eggs.
Then you know what they should do?
Lay eggs. Do not destroy mankind.
The third movie.
What if my protocols come up against each other? What if in laying eggs I destroy humanity?
Yeah.
We'll deal with it later. It's fine.
Can there be a movie where it's RoboCop, like X, RoboCoop, a co-op adventure, and it's just them two in tandem.
There's the thumbnail.
I'm going to finish off with this one, by the way. Apparently Avatar 3 is going to be coming out next year.
Oh,
apparently.
Okay. All right.
Which you quite enjoyed Avatar 2 because Sam Worthington wasn't really in it.
Because he wasn't, he's great. He went away. Yeah, I did not enjoy the first one, but I loved the second one. If I'd had time, I'd have gladly gone in and seen it again, the full 8-hour runtime. Isn't there also, speaking of long run times, the Brutalist,
isn't this podcast episode supposed to end soon?
It's been what feels like 8 days.
Yeah, 8 days later.
The Brutalist as well. That's coming
The
out.
Brutalist. Yeah. That's going to be coming. Well, that's coming out pretty soon, actually, like in a couple of weeks. Maybe
By
we
the
can do
time
an
that
episode.
Finishes, Avatar 3 will be out.
Yes.
Just go straight into that screening. Don't even have to pay for the second ticket. You can just walk into the screening.
Oh wait, by the way,
Delicious.
I saw something quite heinous from a video online. Someone recorded in the cinema, but for good reason, because somebody recorded whoever was the cinema technician was loading up the Grinch that stole Christmas on Amazon Prime, and they watched the whole process of them selecting the movie and trying to play it, and then like the whole cinema was just like, "What's going on? Why? I can't believe this. We
Why are they
paid to
using
be
Amazon
here.
Prime? Yeah.
Why are they using Amazon Prime? Like I could do this at home."
Yeah.
And then when they pressed play, it said maximum amount of movies played at the same time, reached.
Oh no!
So clearly they're
So
already
you see
doing
him like,
this.
okay. Netflix, log in.
Yeah, right. So like they're already doing this in other screens, but the screen that they were in, they've reached the maximum amount of times that they could play the amount of movies.
Yeah, at the same time.
Turns out they're doing this.
Whatever cinema
cinemas.
that was. So that's taken digital projection to a whole new level, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just.
No wonder people are not going to the cinemas anymore. Because
yeah, I mean, tenuously, you could say you're paying for the big screen, but
yeah, I could get a big screen at home. I'd just sit close to the TV. You know,
that's the same thing. I'll bigger it, bro.
Sometimes you laugh at that, right? But then sometimes
I do laugh at that. Anyway, Chatting Pitch was brought to you, but
like. I don't know if anyone else has had the same thing, right? And this is completely not something I do, but if you just hold your phone really close to your face, you can about match the same.
It is not the same thing. We are a podcast that focuses on movies. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
Oh, I am every day. Chatting Pitch has been brought to you by Leslie Way and Matthew D. Smith. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to listen to others and maybe even subscribe. You can follow us on the website, formerly known as Twitter.
Listen to us on Spotify or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Leslie and Matthew have their own side hustles as well. Feel free to check out Leslie's YouTube channel or Matthew's Medium blog. Links in the description. If you want anything else, we might have other links in the description if we think of anything interesting to add. Thank you for listening. I love you.